Hi everyone, it's me again, back in my uniform. Yeah, go ahead, poke fun, give it a shot. So today is International Day of Happiness, and I think some people right now are talking about. I mean, I've heard people when they think the when they think that the layers are gone, when they think that they can be themselves. There's an awful lot of talk about like nobody's happy, or that most people who appear happy are faking it, or that any number of iterations of some version of people aren't happy. Now, in the first place, happiness isn't a goal. And I don't know when, I guess it's relatively new that we just think that we think we're entitled to happiness. We think we deserve it. We think there's a whole wave of this kind of toxic and harmful ideology that things are supposed to be good rather than making things good, right? You see people who might profess how joyful life can be and dance in the rain and all those things, and I've used that one too. But then they don't go about doing it. They don't live it. They present it on social media, they present it in conversation, but what they're not doing is changing this or their approach to everything. So today's International Day of Happiness. Happiness isn't a goal. Happiness is something that occurs naturally when you're doing things that matter, when you're doing things that you care about, when you're doing things that are aligned with your goal or your purpose in life. Yeah, there's silly joy in being an idiot once in a while and making a joke once in a while and all of that. Of course there is. Then that creates fleeting happiness. Moments of joy, moments of fleeting happiness. But it's not the whole goal. And it's not possible to, here we go, a little bit of circular conversation. It's not possible to be happy, in my opinion. It's not possible to be happy if your goal is to be happy. There's your irony. Stop aiming for happiness. Start aiming for purpose. Happiness will come as a result of you chasing a purpose, not of you chasing happiness. Happiness is a fish you can't catch. Thank you, Our Lady Peace. As soon as you have the thing that you thought would make you happy, human nature, unfortunately, very often pushes us to want more. As soon as you have X amount of dollars, the goalposts have moved, and now what you have isn't enough. And that's typically what happens. As soon as you have anything, it even happens unfortunately in our relationship with others. Oh, I want to be friends with that person. Then you're friends with them, and then it fades. I'm sorry, and it's real. Like, I'm just being real here, right? So what happens is, through the course of our lives, happiness is this fleeting beep. It's this blip. If our baseline here, happiness is this blip, and we always want more of that. And I don't begrudge or blame anyone who wants more of that. Good for you. That's fantastic. But what I do think is happening is we're misunderstanding, and we think that happiness is the goal, and we think that freedom from any kind of discomfort is the only way to be happy. And you get a whole lot of people out there that are just they're chasing the wrong goal, because happiness in and of itself cannot be a goal. I just want to be happy. No, there's more to it. So if you don't know what you want in life, if you don't know what you want with any given day, it's going to be awfully difficult to find the moments of happiness that should come from that day, right? And I know that happiness comes from more than a sense of accomplishment, because you can be completely laid back, slow lifestyle, don't get a heck of a lot done, but you're content just being. And that could be a way to get to happiness. So I think, ironically, on International Day of Happiness, I'm trying to tell you, the harder you chase it, the less chance you have of having it, happiness in and of itself, because it's not a goal. And again, it's not a temporary, it's not a permanent thing. We always live, often, not all of us, too many of us perhaps live in a world where I'll be happy when this happens, right? I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when my kid makes that team. I'll be happy when enough time has passed that I'm not crying over that heartache. I'll be able to find happiness again. And those things just, they don't lead to any kind of lasting happiness. That attitude is a little off of what I'm trying to explain here, but that idea that like happy comes from one accomplishment or one thing, or that it can be permanent, it's not going to lead you to happiness. I know this is a bit of a circular conversation, so thanks for sticking with me on it. I guess to wrap up, I'm just going to say that if you're not happy, that's okay in the moment. If you're constantly, if you feel like you're never at this in a state of happiness, there's something really wrong with your life. If I can grieve the worst loss I've ever had in my life, where I needed a little help from, chemicals and medication and stuff, which, okay, right? Full disclosure. If I can find moments of happiness and moments of joy in this hell that I'm in with after losing my son, then maybe some of us need to adjust what we think being happy means. And I'm not saying reduce and lower your expectations. What I'm saying is purpose is greater than happiness. And I even have a Medium, a little blog that I wrote on the Medium, which I don't even know how good it is. It just comes to mind right now. So I might put the link somewhere into this description. But purpose is greater than happiness, and purpose can lead you to happiness. You can't live a life where happiness is your goal, but you can live a life where happiness springs from trying to accomplish goals, trying to make good human connections, and trying to just do the things that align with who you are and align with who you want to be. And here's the funny part and the tricky part. Sometimes happiness comes from the really, really difficult, shitty, oh my God, I don't want to do that kind of stuff. And that's where a lot of us, I think, are failing too. Are failing to realize that. Sometimes the greatest happiness comes from doing those things that at the onset you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Sometimes happiness comes from pushing through the comfort, pushing through the laziness. And again, I'll just say it again before I sign off here. If you are unhappy with a life that is largely the results of your choices, number one, forgive yourself if you're beating yourself up over it and ruminating on it. But number two, your choices got you into this unhappy place. It's quite likely that your choices and new actions can get you out of this unhappy place. So on International Day of Happiness, I'm asking you, again, maybe ironically, not to seek happiness so much as you seek purpose and the joy that can come from living your life aligned with some kind of purpose and some kind of cause, some kind of thing that's greater than yourself. The problem with focusing on happiness is that you might turn it inward, and it might become a selfish pursuit. And a selfish pursuit of happiness, paradoxically, or perhaps makes full sense, a selfish pursuit of happiness doesn't work. Happiness will come in the pursuit of something outside of yourself. So there's my 8.5 minutes of nonsense. Thanks for watching. Purpose is greater than happiness.